Hey you guys, today I'm going to tell you about my best stock buy ever. I just made it last month, and I'm also going to tell you how I almost royally screwed this up. So going into this year, I was all set to do this awesome thing where I was going to wait, because you know how we were all expecting that the stock market was going to crash and we were going to have a recession and prices were going to get really low. So I had this kind of in the back of my mind. Even though I'm doing the monthly investments into VTI, I thought if I can just sit on some cash and not do anything and wait until the stock market crashes, then I'll be able to buy the dip and buy some stocks when they're really cheap. First off, this is not investing advice. This is not financial advice. What I thought would happen was I was going to get really low prices and I was going to get the chance to buy my stocks. I had set aside a chunk of money to invest at the start of the year, and I was just waiting for the stock market to crash so I could invest it. And I was pretty much set on buying either Airbnb stock because I wanted to get that if it got cheap. I was also looking at buying BYD, which is a Chinese EV maker. They're profitable. They've been around for more than 20 years, and they're the dominant EV maker in China. And I was also thinking of buying shares of an ETF like AVUV. So I was plotting my purchase. But as January passed and February and March, the stock prices just kept on going up. The prices for everything seemed to be getting higher and higher, like Airbnb got more and more expensive. And I started feeling like, oh my gosh, why am I trying to find the right time to buy this stock? What if I had just bought it in January? Then it would be done. I would have gotten in at the beginning of the year before the market started going up. And then I would, have a much better chance at getting a good return. Instead, here I was, several months into the year sitting on cash. And then right around the time I was just deciding, I should just put this money into the market or buy some, Airbnb, I noticed that one of the stocks that I have been investing in for the past couple years had really come down a lot. I have been watching this, and the stock had been down 20-30% or more from its highs. And Veeva Systems is a life sciences cloud software company. Drug companies, pharmaceutical companies, for example, they need this software to help keep track of all of their clinical trials and keep track of all of their customers, and it's a sales tool, helps them organize a lot of info. So they are the cloud software company for life sciences. All right, ticker symbol is VEEV. And what I noticed was that this stock was selling at a big discount to what I thought the shares were worth. And I can never get an exact dollar number, an exact dollar amount for what to pay for a stock, but you get kind of a range. And I think that this stock was worth somewhere between maybe $230 to $250 a share. And I saw that it was around $165, maybe a little less. And I thought, wow, this is a good company. I understand what the business is about. I thought, geez, this is a really good price, about $165. And, it was, in my estimation, maybe a 30 or 40% discount off of what I think the stock is worth, which is somewhere around maybe $250 a share. Anyway, what I wound up doing is placing a limit order to buy shares of this if it went below 165. And this order wound up executing, filling, and so I wound up buying a lot of shares, thousands of dollars worth of shares of Viva Systems. And what I liked about this was I had all of these different ideas about investing in company like, for example, Airbnb. But I don't have a really strong knowledge of Airbnb. I mean, I've stayed in some Airbnbs before. I know how it works. But there are just also a lot of variables like, will people travel more? Will this recession end? And is there going to be more people spending money, or whether maybe Airbnb's business is not going to do so well over the next couple of years. I just don't know. And I'm not in a place to really understand that business any better than anyone watching this video. But Viva Systems, I know about it. I know about the CEO. His name's Peter Gassner. I've watched a lot of interviews with him. He seems like a really great leader. He founded the company, and it's really the only company in this sector. It's really dominant in the pharmaceutical healthcare sector to be a CRM. It's built on the Salesforce platform, and I don't see a lot of competition out there. So this to me was a great kind of way things lined up, which was it was a stock I understood, and it was selling at a really low price in my estimation, 165 or so. And what I didn't know was that the company was about to have an earnings release. And as an investor, I don't pay any attention to quarterly earnings or to guidance from analysts or anything like that. I look at the business, I look at what I think it's worth, and then I just decide what price I think makes sense given what this business is worth and what the future looks like for the business. And what I didn't know was that in the earnings release, there's a lot of uncertainty in the days leading up. And I think that's what happened, is I think that the stock price kind of came down in the time leading up to earnings. Sometimes they'll sell the stock before earnings because they don't want to be holding it and then find out that the stock drops all of a sudden. So I think what happened was people were nervous. I didn't know about this, fortunately, because I didn't even have the chance to get nervous. I bought my shares a few days, it turns out, before earnings. And then when the earnings turned out to be great, the stock, shot up quite a bit. I think it went up about 20% in one day. And that's the kind of thing that very rarely ever happens to me, that a stock that I buy actually goes up. I don't know why, but it seems they tend to go the other way. But in this case, things worked out well. And so just to take a step back and share with you kind of what worked, I would say this. What didn't work, just to go back a little bit, I think a mistake that I made this year was waiting to invest thinking that the market might go down. Because, a lot of times we get in our heads and we're like, oh, if I just wait, I'll find this perfect time to buy stocks. And, especially with all the YouTubers and the thumbnails saying crash and, all this stuff and the fire, the flames, you think, oh man, I better not be invested. But the good thing is if you have the money and you have a plan to invest over time, then it takes away this kind of trying to predict the market. And in my case, sort of what I learned is that it might have been just a better idea to get in early at the beginning of the year instead of waiting for this dip, because I haven't seen the stock market dip and I don't know when it's going to happen. And if it does, if the market crash, I don't know if it's going to go down 10% or 20, or like nobody can guess or predict when it's going to happen and the magnitude of the crash and then when it's going to rebound. And timing all those things is impossible. So one thing that I've learned is that you should not dawdle. And by that I mean, don't sit around trying to make a decision and then not make that decision. I feel like this is a really important life lesson. If there's some decision that you need to make, whether you're just leading yourself through life or you're leading a group of other people, either on like a sports team or in a business that you're working in or whatever, it's better to just make a decision and go with it, and at least make a decision, even if it's not the perfect decision. That way, at least you get things done and you keep moving. And you'll also just feel better. You'll have a confidence that you're making a decision, that you're moving forward, rather than you're stuck on your heels and you're kind of waiting for things to happen. And that makes you more reactive and more a victim of the circumstances around you. But you really want to just, if you can, be decisive, make decisions, even if they're not perfect. And in most things in life, these decisions are reversible. So, if you make a decision, it doesn't work out perfectly, you can always change things up, change your mind, change your approach, change your attitude. And I think this is just a very kind of healthy, productive attitude toward life. So hope this has been useful to you guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's super helpful in suggesting this video to other people who might benefit from it. And if you have not yet subscribed, I make videos about stock investing. I also cover ETFs. I look at new ETFs all the time. I try to share with you guys stuff that I'd want to learn if our positions were reversed. And most of all, I just love hearing from you guys. So if you have any thoughts about stocks, ETFs, anything about investing, please write it in the comment section below. I love to hear from you guys. So most important of all, make it a great day, and I will see you in the next video.